What do you really expect from these talks today? Pomp and circumstance or results?
Well, Germany's Merkel has already played them down, and EU President Tusk said just a little while ago, before the summit started, that this is not Greece's last chance, this meeting tonight. So I'm not sure that we really expect any big deals, any big announcements tonight. But Merkel and the other EU players here want to hear what Tsipras has to say, the Greek Prime Minister Tsipras. So they're willing to sit down with him on the sidelines of the summit today and see if they can get more information about the reform proposals that Greece is putting forward.
Jones, do you have any idea of sort of what the status is of the negotiations with the creditors that investment bank Lazard was heading up? Do you have any insight into where all that stands at the moment?
Well, at this point, it's on hiatus. They've paused the talks, the technical talks that have been going on, in order to wait and see what the outcome of today's meeting is. So we're all going to be waiting to see what happens, what the language is after the meeting. It's going to be fairly late here in Brussels because they have the regular summit to go through, and then afterwards they're going to have this special meeting with Tsipras.
Are the Greek finance officials realistic about what their situation is? Because it seems like comments we're getting out of the finance minister for the last few weeks might intimate he doesn't realize, or he's not acknowledging, just how grave things are there.
Well, this is one of the things, and the EU, the Eurogroup, and the IMF and the ECB are trying to get a really close look at the books down there in Athens, and they were not satisfied so far with the answers that they've gotten from the officials in Athens. So they're asking the same kinds of questions, and they're trying to dig into there.
And has the willingness of Greece to sort of engage in these negotiations with the creditors and with the EU, has that hurt their standing, the politics of it hurt their standing at home with voters?
You've got two different messages going on. You know, it's like Greece has made commitments to the Eurozone and to its creditors in order to get this 240 billion euro bailout or in bailout funds that they've gotten. But at the same time, Tsipras has made promises, campaign promises during the election to say that this austerity program that's tied to the bailout money is going to end. And now that's the negotiations that's going on. So Merkel and Hollande from France and Draghi from the ECB tonight are going to be telling Tsipras that, you know, you can't have it both ways. You've got to work with us in order to make this happen.
But let's be honest, Tsipras may have made these promises while he was campaigning. Is he actually in a position to fulfill them?
He's the leader of the country, so you could argue that he can do what he wants in that respect. But if he doesn't satisfy his creditors, if he doesn't satisfy the Eurogroup, the ECB, and the IMF, then he's going to have his funding cut off, and that's going to be a big problem. And in fact, Greece is facing a credit crunch, a funding crunch at the end of this month. So they're hoping that they can satisfy the creditors, satisfy the Eurogroup and the ECB, and get another tranche of their aid payment before the end of this month.
Hope. I wouldn't like to think that my country's finances were resting on hope.